Alright, it's May 11th, 2011. It is a nice morning. Very rainy, very cold here in Nova Scotia, Canada. I just have a couple thoughts that have been mulling around my brain over the past few weeks here as I've been watching a lot of things, particular things in the news. Like the Osama bin Laden is now dead, apparently, according to Obama and his neocons at the Pentagon. And on top of that, we have the biggest depression on the planet in basically the most recent history of the planet since at least the Great Depression. I think it goes back centuries. We have the widest wealth and income gap ever. Apparently we have reversed all of the gains that we have made in keeping commodity prices down and food prices worldwide. You know, over the past 100 years that they've all been dropping pretty consistently because of innovation, ingenuity, and technological advancement, allowing us to utilize our resources better and be able to harvest more of them and use less per person. This has caused the price to go down a little bit, and it's just continued to go down and down and down until about 8 years ago, and we have literally reversed all of that progress in just 8 short years. It's sad because I'm watching my daughter's, as well as my own, future get squandered. $75 billion are going to the people that created this whole financial grid of death that has been bankrupting countries and has sent people into the streets in so many different countries. And I'm still wondering why. Like, why the hell is this country so complacent? Why the hell aren't we in the streets just like everybody in Egypt and Tunisia and Algeria, Morocco, soon to be Spain, France, United Kingdom, heck, even Ohio, Wisconsin? But it seems that our politicians have a lot of tricks left up their sleeve. They have a lot of distractions yet planned for us. This whole Osama bin Laden thing is perfect as an distraction because it's so horribly fabricated. The lies are stupid. Just stupid. We got the entire intelligence community of the entire world basically coming out right now and saying, Obama, stop your lies. If you wanted to do a PSYOP, you gotta do it properly. That's the way it works. We got Steve Pieczenik, Dr. Steve Pieczenik, who has worked as an advisor and as a person that does regime change to, I think, 5 different American presidents, and his last one, I think, was George Bush Sr., because he refused to work under George Bush Jr., because he thought he was an incompetent fool. He's been saying for the last 10 years that Osama bin Laden's dead. He came out in November of 2001 talking about how Osama bin Laden was escorted to a Pakistani hospital, and he was worked on by CIA physicians, and that they found out that he had something called Marfan syndrome. He wasn't on renal dialysis, it was Marfan syndrome, and he says one of the main things that's consistent with this disease is that they have a very short life, and that he died just a few months after 9/11. And that, to me, was very interesting, because this is a guy who has got credibility up the wazoo. This guy worked for 4 different administrations. I think that was Nixon, Reagan, Bush Sr., and Carter. And between all of those different administrations, he showed himself to have a track record of being very independent. He wasn't anybody's right-hand man, so to speak. He was just himself, and he was doing what he thought to be right. And for that reason, he got kicked out of a lot of meetings. He ended up getting reprimanded consistently by a lot of his bosses for repeatedly going against what they say in the best interests of whatever they were doing. Because he knew better, not them. He was the advisor, not them. He was the guy that did regime change. He taught PSYOP to the government for the last 30 years. He understands what he's talking about, and he understands what a PSYOP is, and he understands how this is the most poorly crafted PSYOP that he's ever seen, and he says that, seriously, if they don't stop the goddamn lies, America's gonna have a revolution. Canada's this close, and seriously, when the American financial system finally implodes, as it's supposed to, because the laws of economics require it to happen, it's going to affect us big time. I see upwards of a possibly 50 to 100% exposure to our mortgage markets, considering most of our banks work with the same offshore banks that are causing these issues in the United States. Our manufacturing, 60% of which all of our exports go to the States. We're going to see our manufacturing, which about 80% of what we manufacture is shipped out of this country. We're going to see all of that dwindle, and our manufacturing is going to take an enormous hit. And unfortunately, there's not much we can do about it, except by protecting ourselves from our big neighbor to the south. But in doing so, we would harm, oh, God forbid, we would harm our trade laws, NAFTA, CAFTA, it will all go to hell. Because there's absolutely no way that we can keep the pipes so full with goods and stuff that we've manufactured to keep the pipeline from going dry, essentially, from running itself empty. Why am I telling you all of this? Why am I ranting about all of this? Because it's now May 11th in 2011. We were all told in the beginning of this year by many, many experts, financial experts as well as government experts and historical experts, you name it. We've been told that this year will be the year. That after there is a crash, it may not happen until next year, but it will become painfully obvious how bad of a situation we are in. And coincidentally, it's also the year that the new war in Libya was started. Coincidentally, it was the year that the worldwide mass protests really began to pick up. And also coincidentally, it's the year that Osama bin Elvis has been resurrected and then shot again to continue the precedent for the war on terror. We're fucked. And really that's all I had to say about it today. It's May 11th, 2011. It's rainy and it's cold. And it's kind of looking like doomsday. That's all I really have to say about that.